Yeah, hello. My name is Konstantin Stadler, and I'm here together with Radek Lonka, and together we are forming the Industrial Ecology Digital Lab. We started this kind of project about 2 years ago, and now these are the first experiences we had in this time. Maybe as a start, what's industrial ecology? So if you imagine, let's say, a Venn diagram where you have engineering, economy, economic research, ecological research, and data science, we are kind of in the middle. So we are doing quantitative sustainability science on a level from saying we assessing the life cycle of components, equipments, or different processes in the industry, up to the material flow, let's say aluminum, from the extraction up to the recycling and beyond. And then also doing assessment of the sustainability of certain countries or on a global scale. Think about carbon footprints, material footprints, and so on. The problem we faced is that this research we're doing is kind of separated into 3 methodologies. So there's multi-regional input-output, there's material flow analysis, and there's life cycle assessment. And there was always a kind of problem how to exchange information between these different groups, and also how to share data, how to avoid that software is developed multiple times, and so on. But this is also, of course, then how within the groups the data sharing happens. And then in a separate step, then if we have software developed in a project, which is quite specific of a project, how can we increase the reusability of the software and of the data? And then, of course, how do we communicate our results to different scientific fields and to policymakers? So as for this, to solve this problem, we started a digital lab, and our mission was to consolidate the available infrastructure in terms of software, data, and let's say access to servers, knowledge about this stuff, and provide some code and data exchange standards. Then we're also helping develop novel software, in particular if it's useful for a broader set of users, not just for one project or something. And then also explore connections to different initiatives, in particular in Europe. The idea behind this stuff is that, okay, there's something missing, but if you think about research, there are 3 levels of software and data. You have kind of generic tools, which you have across scientific fields. Think about web data scraping, statistical software, and so on. Then you have tools which are specific for a scientific field. And these are some of the stuff we are using. For example, a software package which does supply use table compilation and so on. And there's always software which is specific for a certain project, because we're cutting edge research, so it's not everything is made, so we can just use it. So we have to develop own stuff. And the idea is that the Industrial Ecology Digital Lab covers this to a large extent, and helps developing these, and then see if we can maybe feed something from this back into the second layer. So that then this novel software development or data can be reused for other projects. What we are also doing is that, in particular Radek and also me, we providing some expertise, and we also provide kind of the glue to get expertise from different people and put it together into one package or so. And some things we did is, for example, a web page where you can see the household carbon footprints of different European units, European Union regions. And this puts together some web applications, some high chart graphics, Python, and some MySQL database. What we're currently doing is parsing ship satellite data, storing it into MongoDB, and then using the access to the HPC cluster to map, and also to basically we have missing data to complete the tracks. This we're doing there, and then provide some interface in MATLAB where then the researchers continue to use the data. Yeah, something similar also for marine invasive species. There's basically data from several databases where it says, okay, here is some species which comes from over there and now it's occurring there and to which population there is and so on. And also some web charts which compares different databases we are using, highlighting the differences between the databases and how with this database, how the carbon footprint or the material footprints looks across countries. And this also, again, brings together Python, high charts, web application, database backend, and so on. Apart from this, we also had some specific problems which we tried to solve, and this maybe can help you as well. So if you have any questions, just ask. So one problem we faced was knowledge exchange. There was a lot of knowledge, and basically everybody just stored this in some kind of Word document on the X drive or on the T drive or whatsoever. We tried several solutions. One idea from us that we basically index old documents in kind of Elasticsearch or so, but it's cost so much false positives, there's so much noise. And now we went for a central wiki system. We based it now on DokuWiki, and this works quite well. So all our tutorials, all our information is up there. For code exchange, there was no idea about version control, no idea of Git or so on when we started. So we now started with Git and a GitLab. We have a GitLab group. The uptake is not as fast as we hoped for, but we started to educate people on kind of a project basis. So basically, if we help someone, we say this is how we do it on the GitLab. We invite them to a project and teach them on this basis. Before we had kind of in like at this setting, we had some tutorials and so on, and then people were not immediate, oh, how can I use it? And 2 months later, they forgot how to do it. Communication, this is still a problem. There's some people feel there's an email overload, others think it's fine. We tried different things like Slack, IRC, GitLab issues, and so on. There is not the specific one that really catched on, but we are using Slack internally and enforcing GitLab issues if there are any software problems. But it's not like that the whole industrial ecology group moved to a chat basis or something. It didn't work. In particular, older professors don't want this. It definitely needs across groups. This was an exercise we did 1 year ago, I think. We went for a retreat, and there were basically all our researchers there, and we asked them to map down the workflow they have on a day-to-day basis, not only on computer, but also what they do manually. And then we used these flow charts to identify overlaps. So where is our best, where we have the low-hanging fruits, where we can provide some software which will help the highest amount of people. Coding standards, yeah, this is still an ongoing problem. So we have different programming language, MATLAB, Python, GAMS, which is a modeling platform. I think that's most of it. Some people in Fortran. We recommend that you provide something like NumPy docstrings also in GAMS and MATLAB. Yeah, and this is kind of the same as we do in Git. So we try to push people when we work with them on a project basis. Different systems, yeah, I think it's mostly solved now. We'll be going for Python, Git, and providing some installation guides so that everybody has the same system. We also have a server in the industrial ecology, which runs on Linux. So this is kind of the fallback solution if it's not possible to run things on Windows. We started experimenting with Docker, which is kind of a container software. Yeah, not much more to say here, I think. Yeah, increasing expertise in the group. So as I said, it's mainly project-based education, what we're doing. Yeah, some open solutions. This is all open source. We have this environmental footprints web page where you can look into the footprints of certain regions in the European Union. Some country converter, basically converting ISO 2, ISO 3 to different names and so on, different classification, like you want all countries in a specific continent and so on. Data visualization, this is a web-based, plus you can access it through MATLAB and Python and make some graphs like bar charts and so on. Pymaro, it's quite specific for industrial ecology. WebTrawler was some tool we developed for people which have maybe a web page and need to download old data which is available on this web page. It's a command line tool for them. Yeah, outreach. We presented this digital lab at one conferences in the Environmental Informatics Conference 2017. We're also involved in open science initiatives, in particular in industrial ecology. There's a paper 2 months ago where we were involved. So far one software is published in the Journal of Open Source Software. This was quite a nice experience to publish there. We work a little bit together with the people which doing code refinery here. We started a Zenodo group for publishing our data in industrial ecology and sustainability science Zenodo group. So this is open for everyone in Europe to provide some data and software here. And we're also doing the RSE, started with this, and I think there is Radek who want to talk a little bit about this. Yeah, you can just continue. You have to unmute on there. There's this.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, my name is Radek Lonka, and I came to Digital Lab I came to industrial ecology before the Digital Lab was set it, and it was 2015. I spent 7 years at industry, and they have been looking for someone to fix the issues which Konstantin was talking about, and I was very enthusiastic that I will bring the best standards, the best practices and industry standards to academia, and everything will be solved. And it didn't work out, of course. There is a couple of reasons why it doesn't work out. There is more reasons, it's just highlighting a couple of them. But for me, the main reason was lack of communication between researchers and me as a software engineer. It was, I think, the highest problem. Then this diversity in tools is incredible in academia. Everybody does by their own standards, they are choosing the way, not like in industry. And kind of resistance to new tools. Researchers, of course, or professors doesn't want to learn something new if they already adapted tools and are good in this. They are very good coders. They know how to script, but they don't want. Some of them want to learn, but yeah. And this is the last point: coding, scripting versus software development. So they are very good in coding. They are very good in scripting in particular language with particular script, but the software development takes a little bit more than this. Next. So why is actually software important in general in academia? And for last 2 decades, there was a very rapid increase in the software. The researchers now heavily depend on the new software or on the existing research software, but they are not software developers. That's what I was already talking before. I'm not sure if you know the term reproducibility crisis. It was the Nature magazine made a few years ago a survey about reproducibility, and as you can see, 70% of researchers have failed to reproduce another scientific research. And of course, research, the core of research is reproducibility. So it looks like there is some crisis going on. And more than 50% of researchers cannot reproduce their own research, which, yeah, exactly. So that's why the software is important to the research. Then other things like reusability of software. This is a core in industry because it saves money, it saves time. In academia, I saw that each PhD who continue with a project from previous person, he needs to develop everything from the scratch because the script was just laying around and or there was no documentation. So yeah, reinventing the wheel effect. And of course, quality of software and data, maybe it can be actually before the reusability, because if you don't know how, if your software which produce the data for the papers, if you don't know how, if it's good or bad quality, how do you know that the research papers are valid? How do you know they are true? So that's why software should be important in academia. Before we started, or during when we have been starting Digital Lab, I was thinking, why actually only us are facing, in the Indecol are facing such a problem? Why we have all the code scattered around the XT drive, why there is no documentation, why there is this crisis and so on. And I found that it's not only us, it's a worldwide problem. It's academia in whole world, and in UK, they also was thinking about such problems, and they started RSE community, which stands for Research Software Engineering, at 2012, and now they have over 1.2 thousand members in UK. It's now become international community. This is the map from this year conference. It was over 300 people joined from 12 countries. Of course, there is much more people involved in this RSE community. And we, IDO, in the Industrial Ecology Digital Lab, we are such a RSE group, and we would like to set the community here at NTNU and go also to Nordic countries. But we want to start at NTNU because we want to meet people who does research software engineering, and we want to solve the problems together, which we have, and also share our knowledge. So, as I say, the research software engineer is it's people who prefer to develop the software than doing research. Mainly they are recruiting from the research who like to do the software development, and some, as me, came from the industry to academia. And the point is to help researchers to build better software, because researchers, they should concentrate on research and not on software engineering. So yeah, the research software engineer is the role which is needed in academia, but it's not recognized yet. And yeah, it combines the understanding of research with experience in software engineering. On the first slide, that there was why I failed when I was alone in industrial ecology. And when we came to the solution that we will set up the digital lab with Konstantin, then it started to work. The progress is slow, but it started to work quite well because Konstantin, he brought the academia perspective. He's a good software developer, and he brought this academia perspective because he's academia for a long time. And I brought this industry perspective, and together, yeah, I think it works quite well now. I think that's all for me. Yeah.
So I continue. Yeah, the outlook, what we basically now have the basic digital infrastructure in place for us. We more and more switch to interactive notebook workflow now with Jupyter, with a Jupyter hub on our server, but we also want to use the NTNU one in the future. Yeah, we're still working on improved code and doc standards across the group. Yeah, we're also advocates of open science principles. And we want to maybe better connect to EU infrastructure initiatives, in particular now with the EOS Cup, which should, I think, launch next 2 weeks or so. And then I think in 2020 it should be really working. Yeah, some discussion points. I don't know if this usually happens here. Yeah, I think the first one is the most important. Sometimes we just realize that something is available on the NTNU level after a while. just 2 or 3 days ago, we realized that we did our wiki on DokuWiki, but there's Confluence available, and we didn't know. So we're now looking into maybe we should switch. There's also, I think a couple of weeks ago, there came an email that the OpenStack is down, but we didn't know that there is an OpenStack, and now it looks really good, so maybe we can use this. Also, we were wondering if there is, or maybe start a discussion, if there is an initiative to maybe have a GitLab on the NTNU level. Where you have? Oh, okay. Yeah, Linux farm, maybe, idea. Yeah, one of the problems we are facing is the need of multiple accounts. It's not a problem for us, but a lot of researchers may say, okay, here's our wiki, here's our GitLab. Oh, I need another account, I need another account. So if it's all available within the new account, it would really help us. Yeah, then it's something, I don't know. We don't really came to a good solution, but a lot of people don't like the command line. So it's like, we really have to point out, you press the Windows button, you write CMD, then there's a command line, you copy paste this comment we give you here, and then you press enter. It's not like that you can say, oh, put this in the command line. Yeah, the Nordic RSE, yeah, please check out the email, the webpage. Yeah, of course, if there are any similar initiatives, we would like to know about this. And yeah, maybe we can also talk a little bit about this RSE NTNU, if there's interest here, how we can set up this and so on. Yeah. Okay, that's all. Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, that's why we're here.
På. Jonas har spørsmål? Anders?
Which of these activities would be possible to cooperate with other parts of NTNU for serving?
For in particular GitLab, I think that would be.
Yeah, for instance, but yeah. Which others? Are there any things you do that you could do in cooperation with other faculties and institutes and organizations?
Yeah, we work together, particularly with Syndev Ocean and then the new Maritime on this on a bigger project called Smart Maritime, where I showed this map of the ship tracks, and we calculate the emissions of the ship tracks. And there's a lot of data exchange. Currently, we basically get the hard disk from them, and then plug it in an hour and get the data. So, and this could, yeah, we work together with them. Others we're working with. There's some cooperation with Nina on this invasive species, I think, or with other projects. Yeah. So there is definitely a need to have some infrastructure in place. Yeah. Yeah.
I will not pronounce it properly. Kistwerke. Also, yeah. We get the data on the hard disk, and we need to plug in to our. So the data exchange is something which will be very helpful if we can invite other institutions.
Nice. I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
My section in NTNU is also, Anders is working with me, and we have the responsibility of trying to get some kind of help out to researchers and research persons. If you were to make a wish list of 1 or 2 things, what would you want from us? Because we have about 160 IT persons working in our department. Is there something specific you'd like to get?
You mean some specific service? Or GitLab?
If you could
NTNU GitLab?
GitLab.
Yeah. Or, I mean, the whole package which is needed for software development. So the GitLab, Confluence is there, Jupyter is starting, so that's fine. So I think GitLab
GitLab would be a help, yeah, so that people can log in
with NTNU credentials.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And something for data exchange, as we just talked now, with to share data with other institutions.
Yeah. Good. I think we can maybe help you with that.
Oh,
so for GitLab, for instance, the infrastructure, the technical infrastructure, of course, is the thing that you need first. But on which level comes, for instance, courses in using it, user support, documentation, help, and so forth. Is that high on the priority, or is it not really needed among your users?
We definitely would need this. We never thought of that we can outsource this kind of, so we thought it's our job to do this. But of course, if there's some level, if this is available, it would be perfect, yeah.
Well, there is this one initiative called Cold Refinery. I'm not sure how many of you know that. We already, it was here in Trondheim, and we sent many of our researchers to the Cold Refinery, and they really like it. So that's one way of doing that, to cooperate with them more. And we have Bjorn Lindy, who is part of Cold Refinery at NTNU, so we need just more people, yeah.
Nice.
So that's very good. And of course, we are doing by ourselves the introduction when we introduce to each group in the call. We are giving them some introduction.
Excellent.
Just thinking, one other service we're really struggling with is data versioning. If we have kind of intermediate size data, I mean, there's the solution on Uninet if you have terabytes of data, and I mean, if you have a couple of kilobytes, megabytes, there's also no problems. But if a lot of our databases are in the range of, let's say, 1 to 50 gigabytes, and then we are developing this databases. So we have a lot of versions on this, and they're all now on the X drive, basically, on this EPT experimental, basically increasing the size there with the backups. And so if there are some tools out there, like I think that is a kind of way to make versions. But if there's something on NTNU level where say, okay, we can really make version and timestamps of specific runs of our compilation steps, that would also really help, which is then maybe archived somewhere.
Do we have that? Andog, do you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll take it one step further afterwards, because I'll go back to my group. I know that there's people in my group who can help you with the GitLab thing, and probably some other things as well. So I guess I'll invite you to a smaller, tighter group with technical persons where we can talk. Another thing that I would like to point out is I really like that RSE thing. That sounds brilliant. And hopefully we can use this Mimesbrunn as something similar on NTNU level.
Yeah. Oh, that's
also.
So we can see if we can get something going there.
Yeah.
That would be excellent.
Yeah, we also hope about this, and we already met with Anders and with Bjorn. We would like to start it. We are pushing on this. So I guess not every one of you will be interested, but it will be great if there will be some overlap, because we are kind of your customer.
Indeed,
so we can give you feedback. And we depend on your services.
And
so
we depend on your feedback. So that's, I think it's going to work out.
Yeah.
It's excellent.
And if we have this community, the information exchange will be even better, even more productive.
Absolutely.
So it's great that you actually invited us here. So thank you for that.
Thanks for that. Any more questions? Anyone on the Skype connection? Then I'll just have to say thank you very, very much.
Thank you
This
for
was
inviting us.
interesting. Very much. Very interesting. Round of applause.